Many battle mangas start the story with a bunch of short little stories before moving into longer arcs. Some of these stories are one-act stories. In a previous video, I talked about 3-act structure and how it applied to battle manga. I also brought up one-act stories, which Robert McKee describes as a series of scenes that shape a few sequences that build up to one major reversal, ending the story, usually a 50 to 20 minute film. In this video, I'll break down some good and bad one-act story arcs in battle manga. When it comes to manga, one-act stories are usually around 1 to 3 chapters. The key steps are introduction, inciting incident, short journey, and climax. Sometimes the incident happens before the intro, sometimes it never happens. Let me list some examples. In One Piece Chapter 2, these are the scenes. Luffy gets in trouble, Alvida and Kobe are established. Kobe meets Luffy, Kobe stands up to Alvida, and Luffy beats Alvida. Kobe standing up for himself and Luffy's victory are the climax. Naruto Chapter 2 also has one act. Konohamaru and Naruto's conflict is set up. The two train, then Naruto beats Ebisu in the climax. Same for Chapter 3. The three-way conflict between Team 7 is set up. Naruto poses at Sasuke, then Sasuke scolds Sakura in the climax. More examples are Bleach Chapter 2, the UA entrance exam, the Quirk apprehension test, Magna's mini arc, and Noelle's mini arc. The formula is pretty simple. Tell a short story within 1 to 3 chapters that ends with a climax. What separates the good from the bad is in the small details. Naruto's Chapter 2 and 3 are bad examples. Chapter 2 is about learning sexy jutsu, and Chapter 3 is about Naruto trying to kiss Sakura while disguised as Sasuke. Neither of these stories take full advantage of the action genre, and neither of them are good representations of the manga's strength. Both of them have themes and character arcs, which is good, but they almost feel like different stories compared to what Naruto would be known for. The appeal of the battle genre is battles. Chapter 1 understood that, 2 and 3 did not. Compare that to One Piece and Bleach, which is a step up. Both of them have a theme, both of them use action and antagonists that are in the style of the story. Alvida feels like a proper One Piece villain. The Hollow in Chapter 2 is a Hollow, which were the main antagonists for the first arc of Bleach. Neither of these were goofy, low-stakes stories like Naruto. And since Naruto is in the same battle genre, it could have done something similar. And then a step even higher is in MHA and BC. I'll start with Black Clover. The Magna arc is in Chapter 4. After the setup of the characters, Magna proposes a challenge for Asta to earn his Magic Knight robe. He throws a fireball at him, and Asta deflects it. There is no theme or character arc, which is a negative, but the amount of creativity is brilliant. In One Piece and Bleach, they both fought actual antagonists, but BC found a way to have action that used a power system, but was not necessarily a fight. The reason this is an advantage is because the story doesn't need to create one-time disposable villains. It could just instead focus on the important characters, which is what the chapter did. For action, there was even a cool tactic of also using the flat side of his sword. Furthermore, this arc feels like it contributed more to the story than One Piece and Bleach because it includes several characters that will remain important and is a bonding moment between them. Bleach Chapter 2 feels like a self-contained episode, so does Naruto Chapter 2. One Piece Chapter 2 feels a little more connected to the world since Kobe is in the next arc, but then he's gone. To recap, the creativity in the action and the continuity relevance it holds makes it stronger than the previous examples. Now Noelle's arc, which is in Chapter 5. Noelle is set up as a character, her struggle is established, her powers go haywire, Asta saves her. Once again, it has the strengths of the last arc. The action finds a way to be creative, and not just a fight. Noelle's magic creates a problem, and Yami, Asta, and Finral combine their magic in specific ways to save her. Like the Magna arc, this contributes more to the story because it includes only the main characters that will only get mainer. Furthermore, Noelle has an important character arc here. It's also an important team bonding moment. The only thing missing is a theme. That brings me to MHA. I believe MHA is the complete package. In the entrance exam, all the pros from the previous examples are combined. The story isn't low-stakes horseplay. The story is an accurate representation of the strengths of the story, meaning there is epic action. The action is unique, which doesn't require a throwaway villain. This entrance exam has the students defeating robots. The arc actually feels important to the greater story, because the exam is to get into the school that most of the story will be told in. And there is a theme. You should help others even at your own expense. This unfortunately lacks a character arc, which is why I think the Quirk apprehension test is the pinnacle of one-act storytelling in battle manga. No fooling around represents the genre well. Unique action with no throwaway villain thanks to the ball throwing. It's important to the story because failure equals expulsion, and there's a character arc linked to the theme. You can't be reckless. It's perfect. And what's so impressive is that the climaxes of MHA and BC are more exciting and impactful than the climaxes of the big three, despite the fact that they aren't actually fighting an antagonist. They're just doing creative action set pieces. In conclusion, I think the way MHA and BC write these one-act stories is the most ideal way to bring out all the strengths of the genre and place it into a short story at the beginning of a battle manga.